Hi, my name is Lanaya Preston, and I am from the Data 670 Spring 2018 semester, and I will be presenting on my project, The Secret of Cosmetics. See, the cosmetics industry is huge. It makes up $4,405 billion in sales annually. The problem with the cosmetics industry is that it's minimally FDA regulated. There's actually no real regulation system for the cosmetics industry, and their cosmetic companies, as a result, are able to hide information about their ingredients list. They have no forced recall on products, and they also do not have to disclose their ingredient list to us. So my question is, how are they being held accountable, and how unsafe are they being? Because they are a self-regulated system, essentially. In the past, like with the food industry, we've seen that self-regulation has led to cutbacks that can be harmful to humans. Small and upcoming brands in the industry are gaining traction based on their pure and organic ingredient branding. So we do know that people do care about the purity of what they're putting on their skin. And reputation really is vital for the company identity, which may lead to a lot of the hidden ingredients that are being put and not being disclosed. Legislation movement is trying to increase safety regulations within this field, and we're moving towards a more safe cosmetics field, but we need to know what our current state is in order to move towards a better state and fix these problems. So my project is going to take a critical view to determine what level of self-regulation and safety is currently placed within the cosmetics industry. It's going to do that by looking at the chemical exposure in the workforce, so cases in which prolonged use has been proven to show damaging effects, and it's going to align that with the cosmetics industry and the updates to their formulas and chemicals in order to understand exactly what level of self-regulation in comparison to the United States that we do have, and other industries that we do have. So it's going to be aligning the chemical exposure information with chemical and cosmetics information to see how the industry reacts to chemical safety concerns that it does know about. And this is really done using timeframes to determine if they're lagging behind the removal when removing harmful chemicals, how long their turnaround time is for recalls, and take a further look and basically into the safety of cosmetics and make this information available public. There is only one state that really mandates that the ingredient list be disclosed, and that is California. The California Safety Department has the ingredient list and discloses harmful ingredients for the cosmetic industry, and that's really what we have to work against. So there are two data sets. The one released by the California Health Department, it's chemicals and cosmetics. It has over 88,000 rows, and it basically has information on your cosmetic brands, the chemicals that they used, the tracked usage, so when the chemicals change, and that ranges from 2009 to 2018. That is basically our base set. To compare and search against, we have the chemical and exposure in the workplace data set. So these long-term exposure cases that show that, yes, harmful effects have happened. And this is released by OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. And they have over 500,000 rows from the same time period, 2009 to 2018. And it has all chemical exposure cases that have come to fruition across America. Anything under debate has not been put in the database. So we have our two data sets, the chemicals and cosmetics and the chemical exposure in the workplace. So the chemical and cosmetics on the left, exposure on the right. And they're basically connected by the company name and establishment name. So there are a few companies that actually have had cases filed against them. And then we also have the comparison done within the chemical name. So we're comparing the substances that people are using and tracking those as well. So there's a two-pronged set, and this is really going to let us know, like, if the chemicals, they know they're bad, but they're continuing to be used, and then also to look at if just the cosmetic industry in general has a lot of cases in which the recall happens far after the company is convicted. And when we do our predictions, we really want to look at the date that the chemical ends up being used, or it's finished being used and taken out the formula, to see if we can predict that based off of chemical exposure in the workplace. So there are a lot of lessons that are learned throughout this project. We really know that during the beginning of the project, data sharing and privacy was really a major setback and stunted research progress as I tried to actually combine forces with other companies. Data is really hard to get sometimes without being part of the company because to release it, they have to make sure it's viable for you. Also, the problem with publicly accessible data sets is that the size and usability is important, but not everybody releases abundant data sets with information in a lot of different fields that you need for really a true in-depth analysis. And also like communicating the ideas that you have, the connections that you have, the data linkages and definitions without prior knowledge to people without prior knowledge is really a necessary skill, and that's kind of what you have to learn throughout this process as well. The initial project proposal that we come up with is really the foundation for the project, and it makes execution so much easier. So putting forth effort into your original project proposal is really important, and that was learned throughout this process. Um, Also, you sometimes have tools right in your regular data set that can help you with your data transforms, like Excel. It can take your XML documents and put it into the Excel format, and then it can expand out hidden fields as well. Also, another great tool, DB2 Warehouse on the cloud. It has limitations, but it's a great tool that's used by a lot of data scientists. You just need to know your limitations, such as the column to column matching with importing into existing tables. You really just, throughout this project, I've learned you must know the limits of your software and know what timeouts and what problems can occur, and also what's really happening. Know the backstory between your systems, and that way, when errors happen or if your query is not working, especially SQL in RStudio, then you do know what's occurring. So really, like, this project's going to be taking a look into all of these different issues in the cosmetics field. I've already learned so much, and I'm going to continue to learn more with my data visualizations and analyzing the results of my research. So in a live presentation, I would ask for any further questions, but if there are any questions, please let me know, and I will respond to them and get back to them. So thank you for your time. Again, this is Lanai Preston from Data 670, the spring 2018 semester, and I hope you are intrigued by the cosmetics industry and the data that we're currently analyzing with it.